One more.
No, that's perfect. I love that.
This is our descent into madness. Please enjoy. All right. Hey, buddy. Yeah,
Oh,
my
good.
finger. I hurt it doing jujitsu.
Did you break it?
I don't think so, no.
No.
Because
Then why are you being a little bitch about it?
it hurts to bend. It doesn't really hurt, actually. It's just really stiff. And the longer the day goes on, and like I guess the more blood flow that goes to it, the more I can make a fist. But yeah, I don't know. I have so many injuries that are 3-week injuries that end up taking 3 months to heal because I just keep doing jujitsu and kickboxing.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm finally like actually doing something about it.
Well, that's cool. Did you watch Casper? Because I didn't watch Casper.
No, I didn't watch Casper, but Halloween did happen, and Halloween was fun.
Halloween was fun.
Yeah. You streamed. How was your streaming?
It was fine. Nobody watched it. Kind of like this podcast.
Like 16 people.
I was more than the people that watched my stream.
To be honest, it's probably just like web crawlers and bots.
Who cares?
It's Russian bots trying to figure out if they can use us to sway the election.
Even if 20,000 people listen to this podcast, it would still matter about the same, which is not at all.
Yeah. Oh, so the wedding is in 3 weeks, and I wanted to get like veneers because I've always had these small teeth, just like in here, and so I'm getting veneers for them. And before they did that, they brought me in for I think it was called a gumectomy.
Cool. They're going to pull your gums back?
They used a laser, yeah, and like lasered my gums up.
Ooh.
It was wild because so they numb you for it. You don't really feel it. You feel like a little bit of heat, but it doesn't really hurt. And while he was doing it, they smoked, and I could smell it and see it, and I laughed. And he goes, yeah, people normally aren't ready for that. And I'm like, that is just funny. He's like, hey, yeah, it is pretty funny. And it doesn't smell like, it smells like burning plastic. Like it doesn't smell like, I don't know what burning flesh smells like, but I imagine it smells like almost putrid or rotten in a way. But yeah, your gums, when they start burning, smell like plastic. It's really weird.
Gross.
Yeah. But they did that, and then they get the veneer mold on my birthday next week, and then I should be able to get like the temps that next Monday.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to finally having big boy teeth.
What else is going on? I found a mouse in the house the other day.
A mouse in the house?
Yeah.
Did you give it a cookie?
No, I'm trying to kill it.
Where's it living?
I don't really know. It seems like it's hanging out like behind our refrigerator. But I set like 3 or 4 different mouse traps, and I baited them all with peanut butter. And twice now I have come across a trap that has no peanut butter on it, but is still not sprung.
So you mean your traps don't fucking work?
I think I'm using the wrong bait, because peanut butter he can just lick off and he doesn't really have to put a lot of pressure on it.
I guess
so it doesn't activate the trap. Because the traps definitely work.
Did you get your hand stuck in it?
No, I tested it with a screwdriver to make sure it was working, and it definitely is working.
Nice. That's funny. You ever put your hand in a mousetrap just to see?
No.
Like even as a kid?
No.
I did.
Of course you did.
That shows you don't have any hick cousins.
I don't need to have hick cousins to know don't put your hand in a mousetrap.
No, the hick cousins are the ones who are like, put your finger in this mousetrap right here.
No.
Yep.
There we go. That was quick.
I did it.
Just no thank you.
It doesn't hurt that bad. I would never do it with a bear trap.
Fuck no.
I love the videos that are like, so if you get your bear trap stuck on your ankle like I did here, and it's like, Jesus Christ. They're like, you're going to need a friend.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Ow.
Mountain people are wild. But so
Mountain
we just
people
had
are wild.
we just had Halloween. Did you guys give out any candy? I guess you kind of live a little secluded.
No, we're out in the fucking country, dude. There's nobody out here trick or treating. Although there's a neighborhood like a couple of streets over from us that's a little more I don't even know
family,
what to say.
like developed.
It's a little more developed, so it's more of like a suburb.
Yeah.
And that's usually where people go trick or treating. But no, we stayed in. We watched Friday the 13th Part 5.
Which one's that?
It's the one where Jason is not actually in it at all.
Oh, it's that other guy, Tommy or some shit.
Yeah, it's oh my god, what is his last name? I can't remember his last name now.
Shaun White.
No, shut the fuck up. Tommy. Oh my god, I can't think of his name. No, shut up!
Just say it's Tommy Wiseau.
It's not Tommy Wiseau.
It could be. Maybe I am Jason.
Anyway.
Ha, kya, kya, kya.
Anyway, Jason's not in it at all. The little Corey Feldman from the fourth one, Tommy Jarvis, that's his fucking name. Tommy Jarvis. Little baby Corey Feldman from Part 4 goes to an insane asylum because he is still having issues after Part 4. And it's a weird, like, outdoor kind of thing where it's like, yeah, nobody's going to tell you what to do. You kind of move at your own pace or whatever hippie horse shit.
Yeah.
And one of the kids at this loony bin hacks another one to death with an axe.
Jesus. So like everyone's murdering everyone.
No.
Oh.
So this kid that clearly has like anger issues just hacks to death this kid who like might be on the spectrum.
That doesn't feel like he deserves to be in a loony bin.
Yeah, it's weird because it's a loony bin, but like 9/10 of the people there like don't have any like obvious issues, and even then one of them just has a stutter. Or it's like I don't think they put you in the loony bin for that.
I love the idea of having a kid like just going into an elementary school like speech pathology room and 5150ing all the kids, just having them committed.
But yeah, the killer in Part 5 is actually the dad of the guy, the kid who got hacked to death.
Revenge murder.
Basically, yeah, he's a paramedic that picks up the kid, and his kid was a secret that he didn't tell anybody else in the town about. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, of course it is. It's the 5th installment of a movie. No 5th installment is good.
Oh yeah? Fast 5? You're gonna tell me Fast and Furious 5 was bad?
No, Fast and Furious 5 is amazing, but that's because the first 3 are stupid.
They're all stupid. I got news for you, buddy.
The first 3 take themselves serious. Everything after that is basically a new franchise. So really, Fast 5 is Part 2, much like Empire is Part 2 of Star Wars. There you go.
So anyway, it's stupid. Seeing his son hacked to death made him go crazy. He dressed up like Jason.
Cool.
And then at the end, Tommy wears the hockey mask and kills somebody because the plan was for Tommy Jarvis to become the new Jason Voorhees.
Right.
And after this movie, they said, no, that's fucking stupid. We'll just bring Jason back to life. So part 6, Tommy goes to Jason's grave to make sure he's actually dead. Shoves like an iron spike through his heart. That iron spike gets shocked by lightning.
I know, it's incredible.
And then it brings Jason back to life and Jason starts killing people.
Yeah, it's great. Speaking of, I guess, classic Halloween slashers, I saw someone recently break down the Halloween franchise, and it's like 4 different timelines.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Because, like, I want to say it's like for part 4 or something, like Jamie Lee Curtis didn't want to come back, so they said that she was dead. And then she's back in H2O.
It's so much more insane than you could like imagine, because it'll go like one of the timelines is the first movie, and then the movie that came out like 2 years ago with old Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
So that's one timeline. Another one is like 1, 2, H2O, and it like there's a really cool graphic that while I'm editing this I might put up on the screen, but it's like 4 timelines together. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's
weird
wild and bad.
It's just another example of things that won't fucking die. Make 1, 2 movies, let it die.
Well, okay, so the thing about it is the first Halloween was a huge success.
On no money.
Yeah, it was massively successful.
Yeah.
So originally, Halloween was supposed to be like an anthology. You do one movie about this subject, then the next movie is about something different, and they're not related at all, except that they all take place on Halloween.
Right.
But the first one was such a big success that they said, all right, fuck all that. We're doing another Michael Myers movie.
It basically launched the slasher genre. It came out in like 78.
Yeah.
It basically launched it.
So then the second one, they do Michael Myers, and then they're like, okay, now we can go to the anthology. And Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, is a completely unrelated thing.
Yeah,
and then
it's its own thing.
That didn't do as well because it's the third one in a series, and now it's something completely different.
Yeah.
And so for 4, they brought back Michael Myers. I think it's actually called The Return of Michael Myers.
Just that way people are clear.
Yeah, just so everybody knows what's going on. Michael's back, baby.
Michael's back. Yeah. What else?
One more thing before we go too far.
I'm sticking with Halloween, but go ahead.
Okay, good. There are like, including the remake and Freddy versus Jason, there are like 12 Friday the 13th movies.
They should kill it at 13. They should call Friday the 13th, the 13th, and whatever it's about, end it.
Not a single one of those dozen movies is good.
Conventionally good? No.
No, they're fun. They're super fun. They are not good.
No.
Not a single one of those is going into the Criterion collection.
No, they're dog shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Sticking with Halloween, last night, so Maddie went as a witch and I went as her familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty fun. We started handing out candy, and oh, dude, this poor little kid. Maddie loves to watch little kids just do little kid shit because it's funny. And these kids are coming down our street, and this little boy must be like 3 years old, maybe 4, and he eats shit.
Oh,
He just slips in some loose gravel and eats shit, and it's an audible thud. Ah! Like there's a little cry, there's a pause, thud.
Yeah.
Ah!
There's a delay because your little kid brain has to process what happened.
It's so fun. And little kids crying, I slipped. And Maddie is laughing hysterically. They're like 15 feet away. She's laughing hysterically. I'm like, you're awful. She's like, it's so funny because he only fell a foot. It's not that far.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're right. But it was good. A bunch of cute little kid costumes. And then we went around the neighborhood just kind of looking at other people's stuff. And there are these people that went all out on our corner. And they just have a shitload of decorations, lights. It's real cool. And as we were walking by, like, you guys want cookie cake? And we looked at them. They're like, no, we're serious. You want some? And candy? And it was like, yeah. And so she's standing at the front. And she gives us some cookie cake. And then a skateboard with a bucket comes down the driveway. And it's like on a string. And it's filled with like full-size candy. And they're like, take some, yeah. And they tell us about the neighborhood. And they're like, yeah, we have a Facebook group. And it was really cool. And we walked around. We saw a bunch of other stuff. People were launching fireworks. I didn't know fireworks was a Halloween thing, but apparently.
It's not.
Yeah. Well, apparently it is.
No. It's because you live in Austin and people are trying to keep Austin weird.
Yeah. Lots of pot. Smelled lots of pot, which it's basically legal in Austin.
Yeah.
The cops aren't going to pursue it at all. And we have medical weed in Texas. I didn't know that.
No, we don't.
We do.
We don't.
We do.
We do not.
Look it up.
It might be certain counties, but statewide, it is not.
Okay. In Austin, we do. And I'm curious, like, how hard it is to get it.
If I remember the stories from California, where it was legal medically.
Not hard.
Not hard at all. You just go, I kind of get nervous sometimes. And they go, cool, here's your weed.
Yeah. So I am curious about it, but I don't know yet. Yeah, Halloween was good. Now I have a shitload of candy because only like 30 kids came by.
Yeah.
Oh, and our neighbors are mad scientists. They have like a drone they were flying around, but it's like plane. It's a plane, and it's got bright fucking LEDs on the bottom, and so it looks like a UFO as it just kind of hovers around the neighborhood.
Cool.
They're insane. They have homemade hoverboards, which they're weird as fuck looking, especially in the daytime, but at night they light up, and they come out there because I work upstairs, and so I just like look at the street sometimes from the window, and they come out with a giant fan on their back. Like, it looks like the one you would see on like a swamp boat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they come out with one of those just on their back, and I don't know if they're testing it or I don't know what they're doing, but they'll just stand there in the street and just run it. And it's like, are they trying to fly? What are they doing?
Yeah, so basically what you do is you get a parachute, and then you strap a big fan to your back, and you can float around.
Yeah, crazy. I'd love to see them doing it.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm looking up medical marijuana in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm curious how hard it is to get.
Let's see. Medical marijuana is legal in Texas only by the thinnest of technical definitions. In 2015, the state passed the Compassionate Use Act, but it is regarded as one of the most restrictive pieces of medical marijuana legislation in the United States. The latest legislative session, Texas lawmakers proposed multiple bills seeking to expand the legalization. See, how can I get a prescription under the Compassionate Use Act? You probably can't. To qualify to receive medical marijuana in Texas, the Compassionate Use Act states that you must be a permanent resident of the state and suffer from intractable epilepsy.
That's it?
That's the only way you can ingest even a minuscule amount of THC without breaking the law.
Wild.
To get prescribed, a certified physician, must determine that the risk of low THC cannabis is reasonable relative to the potential benefit.
The risk of cannabis.
Yeah.
Listen how stupid that sounds.
You might forget where your keys are.
Oh, no.
But
you might think
that,
your bed is super soft.
Yeah, according to that, it is technically legal, but only in one very specific circumstance. And only if your doctor says the benefits of it outweigh the negatives. Which
would be every case. Unless you had fucking emphysema or something. And even then, eat it.
Or you can vaporize it.
Yeah.
It's not as bad on your lungs if you inhale it as a vapor.
Yeah. So, it's November 1st when we're recording this, which means this is the last podcast we will record pre-election.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. I voted, and it was the first time I did, and I did early voting, and there was like no wait at all, and they had us do the electronic one, and it was super easy. But sorry,
you got Miss Rona?
Maybe. I got it voting. Damn my civil duties.
This is the first time you've ever voted, isn't it?
It is. I'm only old enough to have voted in the 2016 election, and I'm going to be honest.
You could have voted in the primaries in 2016. There was also, I want to say in 2014 there was an election.
I couldn't have voted in 2014.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're a year younger than me.
Yeah.
I always forget that.
Yeah, 2016. This is the first general election I voted in, and it's only the second one I'm eligible for. And I was pretty confident that Hillary was going to win in 2016.
Oh yeah, in 2016, I was like, "There's no fucking way. I'm not going to go vote. There's no fucking way he wins."
Well, I knew Texas would go Republican because it's Texas,
obviously.
But I was pretty confident. Not that I like Hillary or like wanted her to win. I was just like, I'm pretty sure I can see where this is going. And
Hillary is not my favorite either, but like she had decades of experience, and Trump's whole rhetoric, especially in 2016, was like Mexicans bad, Muslims bad.
Did you watch the pandemic special clip that I sent you from South Park?
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
I guess.
You didn't like it?
I didn't think it was that funny.
Really?
No.
Kills a lot of them. Oh, I thought that was hilarious. How dare you?
I don't... You can't fucking satirize anything anymore. Satire's fucking dead.
It was
because every other day it's here's some wild shit Trump said.
The president said.
And here's the press that's not saying how fucking crazy is that. It's just kind of going, oh well, what are you gonna do?
But anyway, so we did that, and I knew that there was other stuff on the ballot. And most people just vote along their party lines. And Snapchat had a tool. I don't know if you saw it or if you use Snapchat.
Yeah, it's the front-facing camera, right?
Yes.
Because that shows you a tool.
Yes. In a way.
You're a tool. Anyway.
Yeah, they had a cool ballot tool where you could put in where you lived and it would tell you everything that's on it. It would tell you like all the candidates' positions and whatnot. And so I actually got to do that. A fuckload of people run unopposed.
Yeah.
A fuckload. I had no idea where it's like District Court of number 9. And it's like, here's this one libertarian. Like, oh, okay. I don't know where District number 9 is, but cool.
You must be in it because you can vote for it.
Yeah, I guess so. I was in multiple districts.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
I don't pretend to understand how the fuck it works. But... So, yeah, we did that, and an interesting stat came out on Saturday, I think, and it was as of Thursday, which in Texas was one day before the end of early voting. More people voted than the entire 2016 general election in Texas.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Like, most people have already voted. I think I saw somewhere that like 62% of people eligible to vote in Texas have voted.
Yeah, it's crazy because normal voter turnout is like, what, 20%? It's dog shit.
Yeah, especially among young people.
Oh, it's dog shit.
Yeah.
And it's just wild to see like all the stuff that's like, this is going to be the most voted in election in over 100 years.
It's going to be nuts.
It's going to be madness for the next 3 weeks. Straight madness. People are going to be announcing victories. People are going to be saying fake news. People are going to be saying that's dog shit. There's going to be court cases. It's going to be madness.
I saw a clip on Twitter. It was Bernie talking to, I want to say Jimmy Fallon. It doesn't fucking matter. He was talking to somebody about like what he's afraid of this election year. And he said, so most people who vote by mail are young Democratic people.
Right.
Especially since we're in the middle of a pandemic, you're going to see a lot more mail-in ballots, and those take time to count. And the people who are going to go to the polls to vote are going to be mostly older Republicans.
Right.
So he said his biggest fear was that on election night, it's going to say that Trump is winning. He's going to go, see, I told you people love me. They want me to be president again. And then in a couple of days, when they finally count all those mail-in ballots and Joe potentially wins, he's going to go, see, I told you it was rigged from the start. We're going to take this to Congress.
Yeah.
Or we're going to take this to Congress, the Supreme Court, and fight this because this is clearly rigged and it's bullshit. And then because he put 3 out of the 9 judges on the Supreme Court.
Crazy.
It's fucking crazy. Have you seen ACB's like credentials?
No, not really.
She is like not qualified at all to be on the Supreme Court. I don't think she's ever tried a case. She's never tried a federal case.
Okay.
Like
if
she
was like a
things.
district judge or something.
Yeah, where it's like she's not at all qualified to be on the Supreme Court.
I wonder how they picked her. It's probably just because she's young, semi-attractive, and a woman.
I think I read somewhere that she was one of the district judges in Florida during the Bush administration, which is also where Brett Kavanaugh was, when there was an issue about counting ballots.
Hilarious.
And they gave it to Bush in Florida, which gave him the election.
They gave it to Bush, and yeah, it was a weird recount, but it was only a recount in certain counties. It was really wild. I wasn't old enough. That was 2001. And so, I was 6?
Yeah.
5 or 6. And so, like, I obviously learned about it all after the fact. But, like, seeing that is fucking wild. I'm curious what it was like to be an adult during that.
I think it's probably pretty similar to what's going on now, where if you don't support him, you go, oh, that's clearly bullshit. And if you do, you just go, man, I love it. It's great.
It's going to be wild. So the thing you described has a name that like economists and poll people are working on. It's called the blue shift.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a thing where it's like educated people are like, curb your expectations. We won't really know until at least a few days after. Maybe even a week or two. And, but the far crazies, they don't listen to normal people. They listen to, whoever the fuck his name is from OAN, who ends every broadcast with, even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
Jesus.
Isn't that fucking wild?
That's so stupid. I hate that.
That's so insane. How do you hear that and go, that's my guy? That's so insane.
Oh, God.
But I don't know if you tried to request a mail-in ballot in Texas, but they won't let you.
I mean, at this point, no.
Oh, no. It's way too late. But even if you tried, scared of COVID isn't a valid reason to get one in Texas. You can only get one with certain criteria. And that's what's weird about this whole thing is that we don't have like a nationwide like consensus on how this should all work because
certain states are allowing you to mail in just because of COVID.
I don't think people in other countries realize that we are 52 loosely bound countries.
Essentially,
50. Yeah.
Well, I mean, 50 if you want to count Puerto Rico and like Guam and shit.
Right. The territories
American
that are like
Samoa.
Important. Yeah. So I don't think they realize that we are really 50 kind of loosely bound countries. Or I guess tightly bound. But anyway, each state more or less operates pretty independently. So in California, you could put, I want a mail-in ballot and I don't want to go to the polls because I don't want to contract COVID. And they'd be like, here's your mail-in ballot. They'd send it to you. In Texas, you'd say, I want a mail-in ballot. They're like, do you meet one of these 3 requirements? Are you like sick and over the age of 65, something like that? I think over the age of 65, you can always request one. Mm-hmm. Are you out of the country or are you out of state on election day? If not, fuck off. Vote in person or vote early.
Yeah.
You can't get a mail-in ballot like because of COVID.
That's crazy. Yeah,
each state is different too. And it's all going to be insane. Almost the whole month of November. No Nut November is going to be like, it's going to be extra crazy.
Also, like a lot of countries give you the day off to vote. Yeah. This country does not do that.
It's not a national holiday. Some companies give you the day off. Like my company gives you, they don't give you it's not like a holiday unless it takes you all day, which in some places it does, like New York or something. But my company, for instance, sent us all an email and it's like, we want you to go vote and, it's not going to count against your PTO. Like, go ahead.
My company has not said a goddamn thing about it. but I know my girlfriend's company, they give her like an hour of paid time off to go vote. She doesn't get the whole day, but she'll get like an hour paid for.
And if you vote early, that's all you really need.
Yeah. But the thing is, she waited until the very last day to register because we moved up here, and so she couldn't vote early. She has to vote on election day.
Oh, I was worried about that when we moved to Austin. They mailed us a thing that was like register to vote in Austin, like really when the election was picking up, and we didn't. Like we sent it in like on the last day we could, which I think was October 5th.
Yeah,
I think that was the last day to register. And I kept checking the Texas government's website to see if they changed our address because it still had us in College Station. And it wasn't until this most recent Wednesday that it finally updated and we were able to go.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really not looking forward to the next few days. The next few days are going to be some of the most stressful days of our lives, I think. Of our lives so far.
So far. I'm not looking forward to like 20 years from now. 15 years from now.
Where like, Ivanka has succeeded, her dad, and now she's the emperor of the United States.
Emperor! No.
Supreme emperor for life, Ivanka
Jesus
Trump.
Christ. Of the Democratic Peoples of North America. The Democratic Republic of North America. It's not democratic, it's not the peoples, and it's certainly not a republic. Anyway. No, like our kids being like, so what did you do during the pandemic? It's like jerked off a lot. And it's like it
did a whole lot of procrastinating.
Yeah. And it's gonna be like, were you scared of it? And there's gonna be so much varying shit. This is like our version of the Depression. Like where you ask your grandparents, what did you do? What was it like? Well, like you're just endlessly fascinated about it. I think our kids are gonna be like, what the fuck was that like?
Yeah, well, your kids are going to be like that.
Right. You're sterile.
My kids are going to be used for stem cell research.
Have you thought about just telling her you're sterile, just lying?
No, because then I'll
get a secret vasectomy.
Then I'll be allowed to bust mighty fat nuts in her, and I'm gonna.
It's awesome.
I'm not gonna not do that.
Go get
if I get the green light.
Go get a vasectomy, and then when she asks you, like, why is your cock and balls all bruised, just say, like, I beat it too hard.
I was jerking off really hard.
I bought a new, like, auto blow too. The one you got to plug into the wall.
Oh, I don't like that.
It fucked me up. Lie like a liar.
There's an old Chinese curse that if I remember correctly, translates to "May you live in interesting times."
And
is
that real?
As far as I know, yeah. May you live in interesting times, because this is definitely, we're gonna look back on this time in history class for sure.
Oh, for sure. Because, and it's also like you have people obviously on both crazy sides, and they're saying like this is, the best ever. We have God King, and like he'll do everything great for us. And then you have the other side who's like, he is literally going to kill us all. And it's like, neither of those is true. And you have people like anywhere else in the middle going, fucking, this is wild. This is actually fucking insane. Like everyone else just going, this is straight up bonkers.
You know what's bizarre to me is the fact that there are like libertarian candidates for president.
Yeah.
Which is super bizarre, because that's like if I was as a line cook, if I went into my interview and said I hate restaurants, I think restaurants should not exist. And so if I'm elected, if you decide to pick me to work in your restaurant, I'm going to do everything I can to get rid of it.
I was talking to Maddie about this, and it's like, it's so insane that like, how dare you have like a mix of opinions? Like I love guns. I totally think that like you should have a license to buy one.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should be semi-proficient in that. You don't have to be a marksman, but like, can you control it? Can you, kind of at least group your shots?
This is a dangerous weapon. We want to make sure that you're at least semi-competent with it.
And I love guns. Like,
yeah.
I have one in my room in case someone breaks in. For, look, someone breaks in, like, fuck it. Texas is a castle doctrine state. You're coming in. I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. I also think, maybe government should be smaller. I also think healthcare should be free. Like, why can't people have that mix of opinions? Why do you have to be so goddamn hard on one side? Don't get it.
Well, the problem is most people are. 90% of people fall in the middle.
Yeah.
Because of stuff like that. The problem is the way we talk to each other online.
It's so bad. It's so hostile.
It doesn't make it seem like there's any middle ground, because the people you're talking to online aren't people to you anymore. They're objects in the way of your happiness. And so you don't talk to them like people, and it forces you to dig your heels in even further.
Yeah.
And I just talking about politics in general, you're really not going to change anybody's mind one way or the other. So I really don't like to talk about politics, period.
I certainly don't. Yeah. Maddie told me that some of her coworkers were talking, and they talked to each other about like, with your spouse, like, do you guys ever talk politics? Does it get in the way of anything? What's a deal breaker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Maddie and I agree on pretty much most things. Yesterday, like, we didn't get into like a heated debate or anything, but it was just like our philosophies differed. And it was about wealth taxes, because there are the memes where it's like government wants to tax people who make over $400,000 a year. The high school guy, my high school friend who makes $35,000 a year, just
yeah.
Super mad. And I said, like, I do think that's a funny meme and a good point. I think it's the principle, though. I don't think you can tax someone over 50%. I think that's just rude. You didn't earn it. 50% is where I draw the line. 49.9, good. 50, eh. And she was like, yeah, but that'll never be you. And I'm like, that's not the point. It's the principle. She goes, but why do you care? It's not you. Like, it'll never be you. It's never most people. Why do you care?
And it's funny because most of the time, you are like, it's not happening to me. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just like, that's just like something that's in my personality that I think like, and obviously it's not fair for like, for someone who works hard and has a good business. They built it from the ground up and now they're successful. And I don't think it's fair to charge them 50% for the hard work that they put in, because it's fucking hard to make a business and make it successful. However, there's also trust fund billionaires that don't do a goddamn thing. And while it's true, if you went from $1 billion to 500 million, that's still 500 million goddamn dollars. In principle, to me, that it's not fair to charge someone 50%. Like, half of what they earned goes to someone else. And I like fundamentally disagree with that.
I think there's a level where you could have half of your wealth taken and still have more than enough money.
It's true.
I think those people we should tax the hell out of.
I also think it's hard because when you set laws, you have to apply them evenly on paper. It's one of those things where like Instagram had to define what was considered pornographic when talking about holding boobs. Did you see this?
No. But I remember there was a similar like Supreme Court case where one of the judges was quoted as saying like, I don't know how to define pornography, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah, it was obscenity is what it was.
Something like that,
in that specific case. Yeah. I forget the names. They made us learn it in government, but I forget it now. But yeah, Instagram had to define holding boobs because it was Lizzo, or it was some famous plus size black celebrity, and she was holding her boobs in like a artistic style. Like, it was very clearly not porn. And Instagram flagged it and blah, 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 blah. They had to fight it. And Instagram had to update their policy to say, we will allow cupping, holding, or like blockage of breast, but they cannot be squeezing, which is defined as like deformation of the breast or like seeing fingerprints or an obvious grab. And it's so weird to have to define porn like that, but you need it on paper. Like, because that's how rules are applied. It's like we read it and then we apply it. And so it's the same thing like when you talk about like taxes, and it's like you have to define it, but then apply it evenly. Because if you start picking and choosing, because then you get into like, because right now we all agree, like maybe Jeff Bezos with $20 billion
it's
can
more
lose
than
half
that.
of it. Whatever it is, he can lose half and be fine. But like if you just define it at 400,000, then, 400,000.
And then
different.
the other thing about that is it's something that I feel like not a lot of people either understand or they do understand and they're ignoring it to prove a point. But for a lot of those plans, like I think specifically Joe Biden's plan is like if you make over $400,000, you get taxed more.
Right.
But basically it's like if you make 401 or 400,000 and then $1 over that, you're getting
$1 is
you're getting taxed on that $1.
Yeah.
Not that 400,000.
Yeah, people don't quite get how tax brackets work, but that's how it works. Is like the money that's within this bracket gets taxed at that much, and then so forth and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's either people are ignorant or they're willfully ignorant.
Yeah.
To prove a point to say how, see, this is bad. He's coming to take your money.
Mm-hmm. I did like when Bernie was on Rogan, because I thought he just wanted a general tax on like over a certain amount. But when he explained, he goes, no, I want to tax stock trading. And we're talking pennies on the hundreds of stocks. So like the average investor wouldn't notice it, but it's the trust funds that buy hundreds of billions of dollars worth of stocks and all that. It's like, that's where the money will come from. Oh, okay. Like I respect that. Like that I can get behind.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show like sound clips of Bernie are made to piss off anyone who's like center, right of center, or on the right. It's like, they purposefully don't like him, even among the left. And I don't get it, because Bernie was their best chance at like wide young person appeal.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about it is it's so bizarre. We have a two-party system. On paper, we don't. But technically, we absolutely do. If you 100%. Want a candidate to win, they either need to be a Democrat or a Republican, period. Because, like, the Green Party doesn't get any fucking money. The Libertarian Party doesn't get any money. So if you vote for them, you're basically throwing your vote away.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that feel like the two-party system does not represent them.
No.
And I agree with that.
100%.
Because we don't, as much as people want to make the Democrats seem like the left-wing party in America, they're really not.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats, if you compare them to other countries like political parties, they're very much in the center.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then I can count on like one hand the number of progressive candidates I can think of. There's Bernie, there's AOC, Ilhan Omar, and like that's really the only three I can think of that I would call true progressive candidates.
Speaking of AOC and moving away from politics, did you see that she played Among Us with a bunch of top streamers?
Yeah, she like broke a record for views.
she broke a record, and I think it was a really cool way because you go blind to it at a certain point every time you open Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and it's like vote.org, and they put the little banner there, and it's like, you just scan past it, and you just fucking ignore it. And they did a really interesting get out the vote campaign where like all numbers indicate it was the most effective one, like since like the civil rights movement.
Yeah, well, and then the other thing is like you can tell when someone is being genuine or not.
Yeah.
And if you watch clips from it, you could tell she genuinely was like playing the game because she thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And
doesn't help she's not bad to look at. She's a pretty girl.
Oh yeah, she's very pretty. But like you can tell she's having fun
Yeah.
And that's her like primary goal.
Yeah.
Her secondary goal is, oh, hey, while you're here, let me talk to you about voting or answer questions you might have about how the process works.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything about it, but from all things I've seen and heard, it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel very disingenuous.
Yeah, and that's the problem with a lot of those like get out and vote things, is that's their primary goal, is to get you to get out and vote, but they wrap it in this we're having fun type package and it doesn't feel genuine.
Yeah.
And so it makes you less likely, if you're anything like me, it makes you less likely to go out there and actually fucking do whatever it is they wanted you to do.
Right. But have you played Among Us at all?
I have bought it.
Mm-hmm.
None of my friends on Steam have bought it, so it's like I could play with randos, but that doesn't seem as fun.
Yeah.
So I own it, but I have not played it.
How many people do you need to play it?
I think a full party is like 8 or 10, something like that. But you don't have to play with that many people. I think I think you need like a minimum of 3.
Right.
Actually, I could probably look on Steam.
Because I've seen people are like, it's a lot of fun if everyone plays by the rules, like to just get a Discord server going of all you guys, like while you play. And as long as like no one's cheating and DMing people like it's this guy.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can, a lot of it is sort of based on
like an honor
system.
Yeah.
And so you can have a Discord server and you can talk while you play it and all that, and that's fine. But you have to trust everybody to mute themselves while the game is actually going.
Mm-hmm.
And some people just aren't trustworthy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're getting randos involved. So let's see. I am on Among Us right now.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to local, create game, whatever. I have like 1 of 10. It doesn't really say how many you need as a minimum right now. It might change if I got people in, but
because there are 2 imposters per game, so I would imagine like maybe 6 would be a good number.
If you're doing a custom game, you can set as many imposters as you want, basically.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, I would like to leave game, please. Okay, exit. Thank you. But yeah, you can basically, if you're doing a custom game, set it up any way you want. So I would assume the minimum is like 3, because you could do 1 imposter and then 2 non-imposters. But then that would be too easy to narrow it down.
Yeah, you only get 1 round, really.
If one person dies, then you know it has to be the other person.
Yeah. But
so maybe 4.
It seems like a fun game.
But yeah.
I don't know. I just don't ever play any PC games because it's on Steam.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't ever play them.
It's not super graphics intensive, so your laptop could probably handle
100%.
it.
It's also my work laptop. I need to buy a personal one.
Yeah. Well, you used to have one, and then you left it when you moved out.
Oh, that PC tower? Yeah. It wasn't very good. It was...
It would have been good enough to play Among Us.
That's true. I was basically using it for like a home server that I was hosting, like code and little things on that like different electronics would talk to.
Yeah. And I took it because you just left it, and I'm probably just going to use it to do schoolwork.
Nice. Yeah. Have you started that yet?
No, I can't.
Applying?
I think registration opens like December 1st or something for the spring semester.
Oh, okay. So you're just going to jump in spring?
Yeah, I was gonna do a winter semester because I missed the fall semester.
Right.
But at the community college here, the winter semester is a mini-mester.
Mm-hmm. So that's where I've seen it most places.
Yeah, it's only like 6 weeks long. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I probably don't need to do that for my first semester back in college for like 6 years or whatever it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also the mini-mesters are intense. The classes are like 4 hours long. You go like 3 times a week. They're pretty intense.
Because you got to cram a lot of information in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you're cramming a whole semester into a mini-mester. Like it's, they're aggressive.
So I decided that probably was not the best way to go back.
No. Considering that you hate school.
I really did. It wasn't even that I necessarily hated school. It was that I hated the busy work.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like having to come in and do daily work and then having to do homework. I hated that.
I couldn't stand feeling I was in the 13th grade.
Yeah, whereas like, if you give me the lecture, let me take notes, let me take the test, I can absolutely do that.
I had a history professor that was like that. He would get up and in the lecture hall, there were no PowerPoints. He would sometimes draw on the board and he would just talk. He would tell you about history and like he had things he wanted to mention and then you took notes on what was important. And sometimes he would derail on like cool facts about how a musket worked and why they wouldn't work in the rain or like why in this region people who use this type of weaponry didn't do as well because it was too humid. The gunpowder wouldn't ignite. And that was just a fun fact. But people would take notes on it. I would leave a class and have half a page of notes. And people would leave and they'd have 3 or 4 pages. And so when we would study them, like before the test, I would look through their notes and they're like, what do you think's important? I'm like, none of this. What are you doing? Like, why are you writing this all down? Can you not tell what's important? I'm like, no, I'm just writing what he's saying. Like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And my first semester of college, I went back to high school and like talked to Mr. Fletcher, if you remember him. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you ever had him.
No, but
really
pretty
cool
much
guy.
Every one of my friends did.
Because he always taught the pre-AP, AP classes.
Yeah.
And I talked to him and I mentioned that to him and he goes, yeah, in college is where a lot of people figure out they're not taking notes correctly. Like in high school, we baby you. But like certain professors in college won't do that. And that was the class I liked. Every other class felt like high school, 13th grade. And it's like, stop giving me so much busy work. Just give me some knowledge and let me learn it.
So like, I really liked our AP Psych class.
Yeah.
AP World History I really liked because it was that we're going to go into the lecture hall. I'm going to give you a lecture. The test is on Friday.
Yeah.
You know, I really enjoyed that and I did really well with that. It's the classes where it's like, it was more like in middle school or high school or whatever, where it's like, okay, here's the sheet we're going to be working on today. Just do that. Here's your homework. Whatever.
Yeah.
I hated that. Although math is the only one that like makes sense because to actually learn it, you have to like actually practice it.
You have to do it a lot. And
yeah,
I've tried explaining to people that math is nothing more than problem solving. It's easiest to use numbers because 2 + 2 will always equal 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, it's easy to use numbers because they are fact. Like people are like, when the fuck am I going to use this in my real life? You're never going to use the Pythagorean theorem in real life unless you're like building something in your backyard. You're just not gonna. However, the Pythagorean theorem is the point that like, if you know 2 pieces of information, you can find out the third by using something that's been established as true. And people like can't get their head around that. It's just problem solving. That's all it is like, get out of the idea of like, I'm bad with numbers. Is like, if you can wrap your head around it in a different way, math makes a lot more sense.
So my stepmom was a like 7th grade math teacher for a while. And she would always talk about like kids in her class and stuff like that. But like one of the things that always blew me away was like she would teach a thing and kids like would be like, well, why? Mm-hmm. And she was like, what do you mean why? It just like, it works. Don't worry about why it works. And like, I never had that problem in math where it was always like a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Got it.
Commit it to memory. We're done.
That's all I need to know. I don't need to know why a squared plus b squared equals c squared because every single time a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Right.
That's all I need to know.
Whereas I like the why. Like I saw something where it was like, why is the area of a circle pi r squared? And
who cares?
I'm like, why is it? And it's cool. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And it's like, that's really cool. And like, I like the why. And I think that's why like math never really bothered me. And I think it's why programming is fun for me because it's just problem solving. And if you know the why, then you can find different ways to get there.
Well, see, I don't know. I always really liked algebra.
Yeah.
Of all the maths that we did, algebra was always my favorite because it was kind of like solving a puzzle.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, you have X over here, Y over here, and Z over here, and you need to figure out what X, Y, and Z are.
Right.
And I don't know, it was always fun to me to figure that out.
It is. Puzzles are fun.
Going through all the steps and stuff like that.
Yeah, puzzles are fun. It's when they're kids like that, and if you just if you tell them who cares why and just memorize this, those are the kids that grow up hating math. It's because when it gets more complex, they don't get it. And because it becomes too much to remember. Like, it's just too much to remember. And they're like, fuck, I hate it.
I don't know. It always seems like it's the kids who are asking why that seem to have issues most of the time, in my experience, where it's like, you're going to really confuse yourself if you're constantly worried about why this works.
That's
all
true.
you really need to know is that this formula works, and this is when you apply it.
Yeah, maybe it's a case-by-case basis, because kids are naturally curious.
Yeah, it's not a rule or anything like that.
Right.
But generally speaking, I have noticed it's the people that want to know why certain math rules work that have a harder time in math.
Interesting. Yeah, it's probably case-by-case, and obviously you can't do it young. Like, if they're just learning multiplication, they can't go, why is that? And go,
because it is shut up third grader.
Yeah, shut up. You're 8. Why don't you worry about remembering to wipe your ass? Or
you should be more worried about not eating your boogers. I see you do it every day, Timothy.
If I have to walk into the boys' restroom and seeing you guys have a pissing contest from across the room, I'm going to lose my mind. Did you ever do that in elementary school?
No.
I did. I was good at it.
We had
push real hard, you pinch the tip, it goes like a fire hose.
We raced, and then the winner always changed. Sometimes it was whoever was done first, and sometimes it was whoever was done last. Because that's how kids do things. You just change the rules until you win.
Oh, yeah. God, dude, kids are so fucking funny. When they were trick-or-treating with us last night, they would come up, and this little girl, she couldn't talk. Maybe, she could barely walk. Maybe 2 to 3. And she sticks her hand out for candy, and I go, Happy Halloween. And her parents are going, say thank you. And she's going to grab candy. I said, you can grab 2. And she's reaching her hand out. And I went, you can grab 2. And she starts to take the whole bucket. And I went, oh, that's for other kids too. And her dad goes, only 2, sweetie. And she starts to grab in. She grabs one and puts it in her bag. And then she goes for another one. I went, yeah, go ahead. And she pulled her hand back. I went, you can have 2. And her dad's like, get another one. Did it for her. And oh God, it's so cute. She tried to take the bucket. Another kid came by, just a little bit older. And he reaches in and her mom goes, what do you say? And he doesn't say anything. And she goes, say thank you. What do you say? And he goes, trick or treat. And she goes, what else do you say? And he goes, Happy Halloween. Oh, fuck, it was so cute. I went, Happy Halloween, buddy. Oh, man.
That is cute. I never want them.
Maddie only wants a newborn or small child like that. She wants to get rid of them from 3 to 10.
Jesus.
I made that up. No, but she definitely likes infants and small children. Every once in a while she sees them, she gets a little baby crazy. But I'm like,
I like kids for small periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's I think I'm going to be a really kick-ass uncle someday.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to be a fucking dad.
I was talking to someone we went to high school with, and she, we still snap regularly and talk and whatnot. And she said that someone else told her, it's oh, are you going back to the gym, or is it the stress of everything that's going on? And you're losing weight. And she goes, it's the stress. I had a donut today, and it was 7 p.m. And I said, Jesus, you should probably eat a little bit. And she goes, you're not wrong. I went, stay at least a little healthy, healthy enough to meet my kids one day. And she sent me like a long video and goes, "Are you guys having a kid? Because I swear to God, I will be the best godmom, aunt, pseudo aunt. I don't give a fuck. I'm looking for excuses to go to Target and spend $100 so I can get $30 off on infant clothes." Because her boyfriend that she's had for a long time, they have like a 5 or 6 year old, and or he had one already, and she's like, because they're basically just tiny human clothes. I want infant clothes to buy. I will buy you guys so much shit from Target.
It's so weird. I feel like that's like a uniquely like millennial or Gen Z sort of attitude towards kids.
Yeah.
Because I feel like our parents or like our older brothers and stuff like that didn't have that sort of attitude about kids.
No, it is pretty unique to like our generation.
Where we're like, we don't necessarily want kids for ourselves, but that doesn't mean we don't want kids in our lives. You know what I mean?
Being able to like give them back. Like Maddie's talked about that. She's a much younger sister. Maddie's 22, almost 22, and her sister is 5.
Jesus.
Yeah. Which kind of fucking rude. I didn't know they consider it like when you have a kid over 40, like if you're 41, they call it a geriatric pregnancy.
That is rude. Your odds of having a kid with like Down syndrome and other developmental disorders goes way up after 40.
Yeah, I just thought it was rude to call it geriatric.
Yeah, that is rude.
But everything came out, everything's great, super healthy kid. And so anyway, Maddie's got a much younger sister, and she said having this younger sister's the best birth control ever because she's cute as fuck, and I love hanging out with her. But at the end of the day, I can go to my mom and be like, take it back.
Yeah.
This is yours now. And I feel like that's why grandparents love kids too.
Oh, yeah. Because you get to spoil the shit out of them and then send them home.
Oh, yeah. Every time I would visit my Nana, $5. Boom, $5. Here's a glass full of M&Ms. Go nuts, kid. Here's all these cookies. Let's play board games.
And for Christmas, we're going to buy you all the loud toys that your parents fucking hate.
It's great.
Because we don't have to listen to it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to like being an uncle and giving just really bad advice.
Oh, I know. I can't wait till Asher starts asking me questions. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to just tell him wrong information.
Where do babies come from? Well, babies come from the baby factory.
Where is the baby factory? Guam.
It's funny. It's actually in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. It's in the Midwest? No. Cincinnati, Alabama.
Yeah, it's the only baby factory in the world. It's in bumfuck Alabama. What does bumfuck mean? Ask your dad.
Ask your dad. You know what my uncle and my dad used to do to me and my brother all the time? They used to call us over, and like my uncle would call us over and go up to your dad and tell him, buff my helmet, faggot. And we're like, what does that mean? And he goes, just go tell him. And we go to my dad, buff my helmet, faggot. And he's like, what? Who told you that? We're like, Uncle Chris did. And he's like, oh, did he?
I can't wait to do that. I hope there's some day where you ask me to watch your kids. And right as I'm dropping them back off, I'm going to go, oh, by the way, ask your dad what a blowjob is. Bye.
Ask your dad why he won't let your mom peg him. What's that? Just go ask.
You don't worry about that. You let your dad worry about that.
What's pegging? Well, you see.
Ask your dad what a hooker is. Bye.
That's a great Gabriel Iglesias joke. I love that. Mommy, or someone's at the door. Who's at the door? The hookers are here.
What's a hooker?
Those are your mom's friends.
Yeah, he's like, you said you were going to be a man and tell him about this stuff. And he's like, all right, you want to know what a hooker is? They're your mom's friends.
Bye.
Oh,
it's great.
I haven't watched Gabriel Iglesias' stuff in years.
It's been a minute. He was on Your Mom's House, and that was really funny. It was, he talked about a lot of stuff. It's just cool. And he talked about like his show, Mr. Iglesias, which I haven't watched, but I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
But he's really cool. He told some cool stories about a stalker he had.
Oh.
It was a male stalker.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, he would just show up to like his like all of his club date shows, and like he thought they were friends. Like it was honestly kind of really creepy.
I wonder. I wonder how much that's like increased because of the internet.
Oh, it has to be like tenfold.
Because especially if you follow these people on like Twitter, if they have a podcast and you listen to that, a lot of that stuff is like super casual, and you create sort of like what's called a parasocial relationship where you know a lot about them. You know a lot of intimate details about their life because they just talk about it.
Yeah.
They don't fucking know you exist. They don't know anything about you. So in your mind, you know them really well, and you guys are kind of friends, whether you think about it that way or not.
Yeah.
But to them, you're fucking nobody. They don't know you.
Bert Kreischer's talked about that, about people who will like DM him and like comment on his stuff, and they'll bust his balls like how Tom does, and like how friends would. Like you and I can call each other fat pieces of shit because we're friends and we know we're playing.
Yeah, but if a stranger did that,
be like,
especially
hey man,
a stranger
what the fuck?
Online,
yeah,
you don't know that they're messing around.
Like, hey man, that hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
And so Bert's talked about that. Like it's, yeah, like some people will be like, hey, I don't fucking know you. Like you can't talk to me like that. So there's a weird thing that comes with celebrity, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Did you see what like the flack Kim got for like the biggest rich person flex I've ever seen?
She and a bunch of her friends and her family, we
all
got COVID tested
island.
and we went to a private island so
just so we could feel
back
like
to normal.
Like if you've got the money to do it, fuck it. I don't care. I don't
want to know about it.
It's so funny. That's the thing, is that she posted about it, and it's like we went to a private island.
She
so
posted about it like
normal.
it was like relatable.
It's so funny.
Like, nobody knows what the fuck you're talking. None of us own a private island.
She posted about it and then was like, and I'm aware other people can't do this, which is why I'm so humbled. And it's like, that's not what humble means.
No.
That's not, you're using that word incorrectly.
We're going to make you live on minimum wage for like 6 months, and then you will really be humbled. Because that's what that word means.
That is what's humbling. And yeah, but anyway, she's like, so I understand other people can't do this, and that's why I'm so humbled to be able to do this. And it's like, all right.
God, getting all your friends together on a private island's a real swift kick in the nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'll really humble you.
And so I just thought it was funny. Like, you poor rich bitch. And then Kanye got her a hologram of her dad for her birthday.
That's bizarre, too.
A hologram.
That's so weird.
They look so good. It's terrifying. It's truly fucking terrifying.
That's just weird. It's just weird. It's not, I'm not going to say it's a bad gift. I don't think it's a good gift.
It's weird.
I just think that's bizarre, man.
If you got a hologram of anyone, living, dead, celebrity, random person through history, who would you want?
Dave Coulier.
And let's pretend we could turn your house into a holodeck. So they can follow you around like fucking Jarvis. It's basically an AI. And it could just walk around your house with you, talk to you, do whatever. Who's Dave Coulier?
Dave Coulier's, he's on Full House. Not Uncle
Jesse.
Not Uncle Jesse, the other uncle that I can't remember his character's
I never watched
name.
Full House. I just know John Stamos' character.
But he was also a stand-up comedian who was dating Alanis Morissette. Oh. And after they broke up, she that song and I'm here to remind you. That song.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a line about her giving whoever the subject of the song is a blowjob in a movie theater.
Uh-huh.
And because they had just broken up, everybody was like, oh, that's clearly about you, right? And he was like, no, it's not about me. She never gave me head in a movie theater.
That's so funny. Oh, that's good. No, I think I would want Stonewall Jackson.
Played by John C. Reilly.
Yes. You know what? Just give me John C. Reilly.
Yeah. John C. Reilly seems cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a cool hologram to have around.
I want John C. Reilly to just like be my buddy.
Yeah, oh, I bet he's cool as shit.
Not
I don't
like-
know why. I feel like he's a cool guy.
Like he's old enough to be my dad, but I want him to be my friend. I want him to like come to the house and have pizza and play video games with me and give me like shitty advice just like your friends would. I
love that tweet where it's like, man, service industry jobs really have you having a 51-year-old best friend being like, man, where's Mr. Otis today?
It is in fact like that.
Yeah. You'll have friends that are like, could easily be your parents, and you guys show up at work and just shoot shit together.
Yeah. Service industry jobs are crazy, especially like a line cook. Mm-hmm. Although I guess it happens in pretty much any service industry job. You really don't need a whole lot of like experience or training or anything. So
not really.
Pretty much anybody off the street can go be a line cook. It doesn't mean you'll be good at it.
No.
But you can do it. And I've worked with people who are not in the country legally. I've worked with people who have done serious time in prison.
Yeah.
I've worked with people who just work for the hell of it. They don't need the money.
Those are the wildest people to me.
So like you come across a lot of different people in that line of work, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, you get to meet a lot of people. It is pretty neat. I mean, the service industry job I had was Domino's, and yeah, certainly, like you remember Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to be really wealthy and then got caught up in a pyramid scheme that he didn't know about. And he got caught up selling land that didn't exist and was federally indicted for like millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fucking wild.
I worked with somebody who went to prison for like 10 years
wow.
on an arson charge.
Damn.
That he didn't do.
Sucks.
He was innocent, but like he was like 19 at the time and couldn't afford a lawyer.
Oh, so he had to like represent himself or something?
He had, if I remember his story correctly, he had like a public defender who has like 60 other cases that week.
It's just not fair.
And he had like just quit this job, and he was on break smoking a cigarette like right before whatever fire started.
Oh, that sucks.
And there just wasn't enough evidence to say conclusively that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because like he had the motive and the opportunity, and so even though you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, it doesn't always work that way.
It sucks.
So basically his public defender was like, look, you can try to fight this and spend a bunch of money you don't have, or you can just take the deal, do your time, and get out. And that's basically what he did.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You get out maybe early behavior or anything like that? You get it commuted at all?
I don't remember. He never really talked about it.
Fair. He'd probably want to ignore it.
Yeah, but he spent a lot of time in prison, like lifting weights and stuff.
Yeah, and prison jack.
He was huge, and I think...
Is this the guy who said, I'll make your fucking toes curl?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that guy.
I'll suck the soul out of you, bro. I'll make your fucking toes curl. But
I love that guy.
He came out of prison, I think maybe not necessarily a better person, but he had more of a direction in life. Because after that, he went back to school to go get his degree to basically become like a personal trainer, nutritionist sort of thing. So he went into prison at like 19 with no real direction in life, and he came out and knew what he wanted to do.
I mean, it's certainly not a way you want to have an epiphany.
No, it's not ideal.
It happened to work out for him, and so I guess that's the only good news you can say.
Yeah, he definitely turned mistakes into miracles, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not the case for everyone. A lot of times people go in and out of prison because it's hard to get a job as a felon.
It is. I say that as experience. I went to federal prison. I went to Supermax.
Mm-hmm. For what?
Arson.
Mm-hmm. You want to give me some details on that case, or?
I actually can't. Parts of it are still under. Parts of it are still going through the legal system. I might have to go back.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember that Dan Cummins joke where he's talking to a guy that he knew was lying, just to see what crazy shit he'd come up with.
Do you remember? I did that in high school. I did that bit.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that was my first foray into stand-up. Was we had that coffee house, which was basically just a talent show, and a bunch of people signed up, but then didn't show up, and so they were looking to fill time because we charge like members of the public to come see this, and so it's like we were trying to fill time, and I had just watched that special. It's from Crazy with a capital F, and there's a video of me on Facebook that I get reminded of every so often. It's like, here's you 8 years ago or 9 years ago, whatever it was. And it's me doing that bit. It's so fucking funny. He's like, you ever talk to someone who is lying, but I prefer to not call them on their lies. I like to just let them keep going because then the lies get more confident and get crazier. I like to go up to this guy and I say, oh, hey, Mark, what'd you do this weekend? Nothing. Went fishing. Yeah. I know he didn't go fishing, but I ask him, how many fish you catch? 60 fish. Wow. That's a lot. It's a lot of fish. Caught 60 salmon. You must have been out there all day. But I was out there for an hour. An hour.
I thought, what kind of bait do you use? No,
he's like,
no bait. Caught him with my bare hands.
Yeah. He goes, you caught a salmon a minute for an hour. Wow. What kind of bait you use? I don't use bait. I wade into the water with my bare hands. I fight the current of the waterfall with my ankles, which are stronger than a team of stallions. You're like a grizzly bear. Had to fight grizzly bear while I caught my salmon. I'd catch a salmon, slap a bear, slap a salmon, kick a bear, slap a salmon, jump up, grab a bald eagle, fly to freedom. It's such a good bit.
Oh man, I love that.
It's so funny because I did that bit and then I think you were the only one who knew it was a comedian's bit.
I don't remember if it was that first coffee house that you did or like another one, but there was definitely one. It was like right about the time we were hanging out. And I was sitting next to Lexi, and every time you would do a joke, I'd be like, that's Dan Cummins.
Yeah.
Oh, that's John Mulaney. Oh, he's doing that bit. Like, because I was super into stand-up around like my freshman, sophomore year of high school. It was pretty much all I would listen to.
Yeah, that's what it was. I didn't write any jokes. I would just do like 5 minutes of someone else's stuff, but that was like my first time on stage.
Yeah.
And then I didn't start writing jokes until the last 2 years.
Yeah. I don't know. I've done a couple of open mics. You were there.
Yeah.
So you know that, but like I really didn't get much out of it. You know what I mean? Where it's like you get nervous right before you get up on stage. But then once you're on stage, at least for me, it was like I wasn't really nervous anymore. They would, you get laughs and it
feels good.
I guess. I don't know.
It feels good to me. What was wild was multiple times now, because I'll put like bits of my stand-up on Instagram, like when I do them. Everything's closed in Austin right now, so I can't. But while in College Station, they're going fucking nuts. Sometimes I'm like tempted to go drive out there and do it. But anyway, like multiple people at the MMA gyms I'll train out and be like, I could never fucking do that. I could never do that. People who have fought and like people who do that shit, like I could never do that. I'm like, I would never compete MMA. Like I can't. I like to train it in the gym, and some of them are like, I get nervous. I can't do that. I'm like, I get nervous before sparring. Like because someone wants to hurt me.
And so many people are afraid of public speaking for some reason.
And they're like, I could literally never stand in front of people. And it's like, yeah, you're a little nervous, but once you get up there and you get that first laugh, it all goes away. Bombing hurts your soul. It feels bad. And I've only ever bombed in front of at most 50 people. But I can't imagine doing it in like a packed club. But it's like, it's not that bad because at the end of it, the person who's most mad is you at yourself.
Yeah.
No, everyone else is going to forget about it and be like, that wasn't good. And then the next guy goes up and they're like, that was funny.
Like, after it's all said and done, they'll probably talk to whoever they went with and like, man, that first guy was like not good, right? No, he really wasn't.
And that's the end of it.
And then you move on. Yeah, they don't think about you again after that.
No, whereas in fighting, like someone wants to hurt you. Like they could break your nose, break your bones. You're going to end up with bruises, limps. Michael Bisping got his fucking eye knocked out, basically. And it's like, come on, man. Like, I would get up on stage and bomb every day of my life before I like fought someone who actively wants to hurt me.
I think the only time I say the only time, like I've done it a bunch. The one time that I did stand up at the open mic and it felt good was when I wasn't expecting a laugh. Where it's like, you know, I wrote these jokes. This is where I kind of expect the laugh to be, but I liked to open up with. I always opened up with, "Hey, how's everybody doing?" People cheer, and I go, "That's not really an answer, but that's okay." And that usually gets a little pop.
Yeah.
And then I wrote another joke right after that, that like I truly thought was just for me. I thought people are going to roll their eyes at this and think it's stupid. But mine was like, I'm really excited to be up here tonight. You know, today's a cheat day for me. I'm not on a diet or anything. My girlfriend's just out of town. And I expected that funny response where you kind of just like chuckled to yourself or whatever. But I did it one time and like there was just like this kind of wave of laughter. You know what I mean? Where like a couple of people laugh up front. And then there's kind of a pause, and then more people start laughing.
Yeah, it like resonates.
Yeah, and it was like, I remember that felt good, where I was like, oh, okay. I'm glad you guys liked that. I didn't expect any reaction.
Sometimes I would get laughs where I didn't think it was a joke.
Yeah, and that's bizarre to me.
They either laughed at the delivery or something about it they thought was funny. And it's like, that's not, okay. And it would sometimes come like right as I was talking. And so I would end up talking over the laughter and be like, oh, I didn't realize that was a joke. And I would do it again and the same thing would happen, be like, okay, maybe I should pause now. And yeah, it was just weird. Sometimes you get a laugh at what you weren't expecting was a joke.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. They were talking about how they were talking to John Mulaney. Oh, it was Nick Kroll. Nick Kroll was on Your Mom's House. And he was talking about helping John Mulaney get ready for like a Conan set or something. And he was like just helping him punch up. And at one point, John Mulaney gets a huge pop. And afterwards, Nick goes, was that where the punchline was? And John goes, it wasn't. No. I don't know why they were laughing. That wasn't the joke.
I'm not a huge fan of like late night talk shows.
Right, me either.
Just because they feel very formulaic.
Yeah.
But for a while, I really liked Conan. And he had this great bit where I want to say it's like Rory Scovel and one other comedian. I can't remember his name. But the bit was that their manager fucked up and booked two comics for the same time slot. So they're both doing their set at the same time.
Oh, that's
and
hilarious.
Like talking over each other. It's so funny.
That's pretty good. That's a good bit.
It's a great bit, but like that's like one of the only late night bits that I think is really funny.
Yeah, because sometimes they're weird. Like Lip Sync Battle is funny once, and then they turn it into a TV show.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's funny one time when Tom Holland comes out dressed as Rihanna, going fucking ham. He is chewing up every bit of it, and that's hilarious. Speaking of Tom Holland, you see his still as Nathan Drake?
Yeah.
My only complaint is I picture Nathan Drake older. That was it.
Yeah, well, I think this movie's number one probably going to be really bad.
Most video game movies are.
It's a video game movie. It has been in development hell for years.
To be fair, so was Deadpool.
Yes.
To be fair, just benefit of the doubt.
Uncharted does not have the charisma of a Ryan Reynolds to really save it. Although Tom Holland is very charming.
Tom Holland is charming, and when you boil it down, Uncharted is just an adventure, kind of Indiana Jones, but less campy. Like, really, when you boil it down. And so it's like, can Tom Holland carry an adventure movie? And that's what we're going to find out.
And, well, he's carried 2 Spider-Man movies, so...
I didn't see the second one yet, but I still got to get to it.
Far From Home is I think I like it better than
Homecoming.
Homecoming. Mostly because I really like Mysterio.
Right. Jake Gyllenhaal is a good actor too.
He really is. I watched Nightcrawler recently.
Did that win the Oscar or was it just nominated?
I don't remember, but Nightcrawler's fucking fantastic. And I was thinking about this as I was watching it. Nightcrawler is what Joker wanted to be. So I'm going to say Joker is a very overall kind of mediocre movie. What's his name? Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix's performance in it is incredible.
Really good.
If it weren't for him, that movie would be dog shit.
Right.
Because a lot of
it's macabre as fuck.
A lot of it is just
slow.
boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes where it's just if you had a less talented actor, this would be a very boring scene.
I said that to, I think it was Maddie I saw it with. I was like, his acting is honestly terrifying. Like, I believe it. It's one of the few times where like I've seen an actor take a character and go, I fucking believe it.
Yeah. But Nightcrawler is kind of what Joker wanted to be, and it succeeds because it doesn't ever really make you like Jake Gyllenhaal. So Jake Gyllenhaal, have you seen Nightcrawler?
No, I'm vaguely aware of it though. He's like a skeezy reporter, right?
Kind of. So basically what he does is he shows up at like murder scenes or accidents or whatever, and he records it, and then he sells it to a news station. And what they do a very good job of doing is doing this job does not make him a worse person. He, from the beginning, is shown to be a bad person. And I think that was really interesting, where like the opening scene, he's stealing fencing and like copper wiring and all this and selling it to a scrapyard. And a security guard stops him and goes, "Hey, you're trespassing, right?" And he was like, "Oh, really? I didn't see a sign or anything like that." And he was like, "Yeah, you're trespassing. I need you to leave right now." And then he like beats the shit out of this security guard and steals his watch.
Oh, he takes his watch.
Yeah. And then it just, there's never really a moment where you like his character. You just have varying shades of like, I don't trust this guy. I don't like him. But he's never really relatable. There's always something a little bit off about him. And I think that's where Joker failed, because it tries to make Joker relatable, but it doesn't do a very good job.
No.
I don't know. I feel like one thing that would really help Joker is if, instead of, the whole idea is that like society has kind of failed him.
Right.
And it would be much more effective, in my opinion, if instead of kind of being a bitch who doesn't listen to him, his therapist was like the one bright spot in his life, where it's like, nobody else really respects me or likes me, but I talk to my therapist and things get better. And then when their funding gets cut and she can't help anymore, that makes that scene more effective, and it kind of shows that's where his decline is, because he really needed this. And she gives this speech to him about how like, they really don't give a shit about people like you and me.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it just doesn't feel right, because the first time we see her, she's not listening to him. She's kind of ignoring him and like, "Are you doing your exercises? Are you having bad thoughts?" And he's like, "All I have are bad thoughts."
Did you? Who directed it? Bryan Singer? Brian
no,
something?
Not Bryan Singer. It was the guy that directed The Hangover.
Phil Collins. I think it's a Phil. It's obviously not Phil Collins. I want to say Phil something. Something Phillip?
Todd Phillips. That's who
there
it was.
it is.
Yeah.
Todd Phillips. Anyway, maybe you should send your critiques to Todd Phillips. I think he'd really appreciate it.
No, I'm not going to do that. I mean, the movie's already made.
It's been.
Although I could petition HBO to remake it. I could petition them.
Release the Phillips cut.
Release the Fenton cut.
The Fenton cut.
The fentanyl cut.
Ooh.
Where Joker's just... and
you just reshoot every
he's
scene.
He's addicted to fentanyl.
Yeah.
The whole movie is just 90 minutes of him shooting up and then just like passing out, and that's the whole movie.
I'd watch it.
Oh, man.
All right. I think hour and a half. You think it's good, buddy?
No, I have a few more things to say about Joker.
Do you? Do I
Not
look like
really.
Todd Phillips?
A little bit.
I don't actually know what he looks like, so I'll take your word for it.
You're a white man with 5 o'clock shadow, so
I'll take it. 5 o'clock shadow. It takes like a day to grow it. 2 days.
that doesn't make it not stubble.
That's true. Anyway, what I want to leave you with before we do our outro,
Mm-hmm.
not who do you want, who wins.
Whoever wins, we lose.
Mm-hmm. I didn't say who loses because we lose. I know we lose. Who? You can give me a popular versus electoral. You don't have to give me a winner take all.
I think we have a repeat of 2016. I think Joe wins the popular vote by far.
I think he wins it handily.
But I think Trump wins the electoral vote.
I'm very curious because most, like the stat I said earlier, the 9 million early voters in Texas is more than the 8 or 9 million in the 2016 general.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if most of those are young people, if that's actually enough to sway Texas's vote.
I don't think so. Texas is becoming more of a battleground state, but it's not there yet.
Right.
I think 2024 maybe, but I think probably by like 2028, Texas will be more of like a battleground state.
Yeah, I'm curious. So we'll see. So
there's
you think repeat 2016?
Yes.
You think four more unfortunate years?
At least.
Something similar. Have you ever had like somebody who is considered relatively famous acknowledge you? Like whether they follow you or they like a post of yours or something like that?
Kind of. I tweeted at a comedian named Billy Wayne Davis one time, just saying that like, hey, I went to his show. It was really cool. You guys should go see him. He liked it, and then he replied to me.
Oh, cool.
That he really liked my banner on Twitter, because my banner on Twitter is this really cool like picture of a coastline. There's like rocky shore. It's beautiful, and over the top it just says "fuck you."
I like it. I follow Philip DeFranco on Instagram, and he went live, and I got the notification. I happened to not be doing anything, so I just clicked it just to see. And there was like 1,000 people watching at the time, and he was just kind of talking, and I messaged just because I'm like, it's not gonna fucking see it. Look how fast this chat goes. I said, do you think we get 4 more years of Emperor T-Dog? And he's talking, and he goes, Emperor T-Dog. And I'm like, yeah!
That is really cool.
He just kind of chuckled. Like, he's just talking. He's like, yeah, we just moved, and we're getting everything situated, getting ready to post the show. It's all rendering right now. And he's like, Emperor T-Dog. And it just keeps going. Like, that's funny. Like, yeah, I got acknowledged.
That's cool. I tweeted at Matt McMuscles one time because he really likes cereal, and he's in Canada, so they don't get the same stuff that we do all the time. So I just sent him a picture of like these cool new cereals I saw at Walmart, and I was like, hey, I thought you might be into this. and he replied to it that like, whoa, that looks awesome. And then a bunch of his followers liked my tweet for some reason.
That's
cool. Weird, but it still was like, cool, he saw that.
Yeah, sometimes it feels cool like that, especially when they're not so big. It's not like a Kim Kardashian or anything. They're big in our sphere.
Yeah, I mean, he still has like tens of thousands of followers.
Yeah.
So it's still kind of cool that like out of all the people tweeting at you, and I'm sure there's a few.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like you saw mine and you thought it was cool, and I like that.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm going to go with the underdog. I think Biden gets it.
I'm not hopeful. I think
I like the underdog.
I think we're gonna get 4 more years of Trump, and then if we don't, he's gonna call bullshit and take it all the way to the Supreme Court.
I'm not saying all that. I'm gonna say, you know, like who like on paper wins the election.
Yeah.
On paper, I think it's I think it's an upset. I think Biden gets it.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, he was fucking mad. He won the election and in 2016, and he wanted to do a recount because he didn't win the popular vote.
Crazy, right?
He was mad he didn't win the popular vote, but he was in the White House.
Did you see? It's recent. The Trump train people. Obviously he didn't send them out or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But he has fanatic supporters.
He's not going to tell them that what they did was wrong.
No. Did you see them like basically threaten the Biden bus here in Texas on its way from San Antonio to Austin?
Yep.
Crazy. Threaten them from getting near Austin.
And they're like lining up at polling places with their guns out.
I didn't see any of that. I did see.
I've seen a little bit of that.
I did see there was a MAGA guy at the voting place here, but he wasn't like harassing anyone. He was just trolling. He was standing in the back of his pickup truck, which had a giant Trump flag in it, and he was playing some music. I couldn't hear it. My windows were down, and he's just dancing on the back of his pickup truck. Like no guns or anything like that. He's just kind of trolling.
Well, see, that's just a guy having fun supporting the wrong guy.
Yeah.
But no, I've seen people posting like people lined up at their polling stations with their AR-15s and stuff out, and it's fucking crazy.
It is. All right, buddy.
Don't let people tell you who to vote for at the polls.
No, 100% not. But this won't go live till next Friday anyway. So
yeah, so
we won't know who
save
won,
us all.
like actually, but we'll have a better idea.
Yep.
All right, where can people find you, buddy?
I am on Twitter and Twitch at Copper_Falcon.
Cop Falc. You can find me on.
That's not my name.
Copper Falcon. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Michael Van Ant. Start spelling my name. You'll find it. I post jokes occasionally, and I post pictures of my cat and dog and my will-be wife in like 20 days.
My wife.
You can follow the podcast anywhere you get the audio version. You can get it anywhere you get podcasts, Stitcher, Apple, Spotify. It's all there. The video version goes live on YouTube at Flirting with Failure. It's the name of our channel.
You can email us.
Yes, you can email us at flirtingfailure@gmail.com. Let's see. What do we want from them this week? Give me your favorite. Give me who you want a hologram as. Who do you want walking around your house? What person, living, dead, current, celebrity, or just an old friend? Who do you want as a hologram?
Email us and tell us how disappointed you are that we didn't talk about a 20-year-old children's movie 2 weeks in a row now.
Yes. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Bill Pullman's the dad in that.
Bye.
I want him to give a speech about this is our Independence Day from ghosts.